This time on AutoEdits, swing out tire mount versus tailgate tire mount. We'll compare the two. There's Pinto. Oh, this poor turtle's getting it. Howdy guys, I'm Jeepin Jason. That's Pinto the dog. And today on the AutoEdits Jeep, we're gonna be having fun with some tire mount tailgate options here. Now for years, girl Pinto, I've had this swing out tailgate arm on the Jeep. And it's been fantastic in the sense that it's rock solid. Come here. And I really enjoyed the fact that one of the things I liked about it is that it's just solid. I mean, that's it. It's strength, it's durability. The tire does not wiggle or bounce around. So this is a really great option back here. But now in these next few Jeep videos, now that I have a few years under my belt of Jeepin and have kind of discovered some of the things I've liked and some of the things I would like to change, this is one of the options that I would like to change, simply because it's kind of a lazy man's thing, but it's this one extra step to get into the back of your Jeep. You have to do that to open the back of your Jeep. Now, when you have camera gear, you're trying to shoot videos or sometimes just camping, that just gets, or literally it's because of 80% of the time this is a city Jeep, it's getting into the back here and requiring that one extra step. So I'm exploring an option of getting similar strength, obviously not as strong as this, but on a tailgate mount here. So I went ahead and ordered up the MetalCloak tailgate hinge system and tire mount for bigger tires. Now there's a bunch of these things on the market, and I'll bring you in and show you plenty of the details on this thing and why I think it's a good piece. And one of the things I like about it, since there's plenty of options in that area of the market, is that this is a local California company to me. I have a lot of MetalCloak stuff on the Jeep, really like this stuff. So it's kind of a good upgrade, not just for the tire mount, because sometimes I've been running the tire with no tire actually on the back of the Jeep for city stuff, and I've been liking that, just visibility out of the back. And it'll be neat to just have a one button, one movement open of the rear tailgate again, and then we'll discover and see if it's gonna be strong enough or how it does in some of the wheeling I do. Like, I'll go through some of the compromises you make when you run both of these things in a minute. Oh, by the way, this is a very easy install. I will rate this one. Basic tools, the only heavy lifting is literally gonna be your tire when you get it off and on. The rest of this is really kind of a straightforward and fun, easy install. So, rated everyone, E for everyone. P for Pinto. Gotcha. Oh. So as you can see, the stuff from MetalCloak, it takes a little bit different shape than some of the other options on the market. Some of the other ones are cast aluminum pieces. They take a different route where they actually go with billet hinges. So you have a billet hinge pocket here, and then you have a bushing and a pin, and then you have a welded fabricated steel. Now this is all 10 gauge steel, so it's really beefy, all good welds. And actually, one of the things I like installing parts on my Jeep from local companies or places that I know. I've actually, and he watches these videos, one of the welders over there at MetalCloak, so hopefully he'll watch this and say, hey, maybe I welded that. So that's kind of cool to me. So that kind of personal factor, homegrown US stuff. And then this is your tire mount and upright, and this bolts into the stock holes onto the tailgate. And then it has a very similar setup to the tailgate arm that I have on there now. And one of the cool features of having this thing is that MetalCloak offers this pretty sweet license plate mount that goes in the center here, and I've been running that since I put that bumper on, and I really actually like that. So it gets the license plate off of the corner of your Jeep and up into the middle of the spare tire. It has a brake light and a license plate light. It's a pretty cool little unit. I'll show you that final install once we get this done. All right, so for most of us, you don't need this extra heavy duty tailgate. It's for obviously big tires, and if you want to carry a bunch of stuff on there, and that was what I was thinking when I ordered it, and it worked perfectly for that. It actually did offer a lot of protection. Here's a shot of me coming down a pretty steep drop and literally resting all of the weight of the Jeep on the back tire and the tire carrier here. Now, this is a good example of wanting that beefiness.
Drive out of it.
I'm not sure how the new tire mount will fare in that instance, but that was just one of, over years of wheeling times when you really wanted that, because even in that one, you could see right here where the top of the tire carrier kissed the back of the tailgate a little bit, because it just literally was several thousand pounds on there. Not even designed for that, I'm sure, but it did a fantastic job in that situation. So one of those things that, the new one probably won't offer that kind of strength, but it's going to be pretty good. So we'll see. I mean, that's just one of those explorations into tweaking and fine-tuning your Jeep for what you're going to do with it. To get started, you simply come back through and pull off all of these plastic covers for the stock hinges. They recommend to put a little kind of prop on the bottom here, whatever fits here. I just rolled a piece of cardboard up and stuffed it in there. And then you want to stabilize the tailgate by putting some tape on this hinge seam here, and then go ahead and take off the old hinges. Now, in the instructions, it recommends that you paint this area here, and I don't have time today to do that, so we're just gonna have to clean it up and get this install done. For the time being, we'll see if we come back and handle that, but for now, hinges out. Now, let's go get the arm and install it. We're gonna take these out, these stock bolts out, because this will help align that thing. So pull these out real quick. And what we'll do is we'll put a bolt in here just to stabilize this end, and just get this one started in the stock holes. So you get these started just to hold that in place for now. We'll pull this guy back out. Open this. So now, what I'm gonna do is just buzz these down again, just not super tight, just snug so that everything's in place and secure. So that way I can still wiggle this around a little bit if I need to. Okay, now what I'll do for the alignment is, while it's just snug now, I'm just gonna align this to these holes here, and then just eyeball, make sure everything lines up, because some bolts will go through here. These all lined up, and now we can kind of start to commit, make sure nothing's moved around, everything looks in place. Now we can commit to starting to tighten our hinges. Now that I know that my hinges in the space that I want it and this arm shouldn't move, I'm gonna go ahead and tighten the rest of these bolts on the hinge. There we go. So now that we have the hinge pockets tightened in place and we have the alignment pretty darn good, you want to just eyeball all these holes, and now we're going to continue using the stock hardware to get these arm bolts in place. So that should get it. These should all be tight. This door should now be supporting itself. So I can tell from our preliminary open, everything actually looks pretty good. Door feels solid, looks solid, and then you can adjust the hinges, tighten or loosen the hinge brackets. Those don't have to go that tight. So this is that little bit of area where the old plastic cover would hide this bit of lack of paint. Not sure if I'm gonna, that doesn't actually bother me too much, this being a black Jeep. But it gives you an idea of what to be ready for. Feels good. I like it. Forgot to mention these decorative plastic caps to finish these little holes off. I don't know about you guys, but my little vent here has just taken a beating, has not weathered well. This is a 2013. It's pretty tired. I may get a finish plate for that, but for now, what I'm gonna do is I have 2 wires that I'm gonna run out to accessories on this thing. So one is the third brake light license plate mount for MetalCloak that will come out here and come up to this. And then I have a Rugged Radios antenna that I'm gonna mount over here in that hole. So those just run from inside through the stock pigtail into the tailgate. And then this goes back into place. Make sure you have top as top. And that'll just sit there like that. And we'll get these out and ready to go. Let's get the chunk in. Where are you going, Pinto? All right, now to put the upright on, and to get this in the ballpark, since I'm coming from a MetalCloak setup similar to this, I just copied the dimensions. Now what you'll do is you'll have to press in these lugs. I didn't press them in, I just actually used a lug nut and a larger nut here to pull this through with my impact gun, and it seems to work pretty good. And then I just took the preliminary measurements from what I had on my old arm. My old mounter. So we'll get this thing up here into place. Now this is the base for the license plate mount, the MetalCloak license plate mount, and I really, really like this thing because it has that cool factor of mounting right in the middle of the tire, gets it off of the corner of your Jeep here, and it's pretty practical. So I like this thing. I'm gonna definitely use this here. And it just mounts up like that. And here you go. So you would put your tire on, and then that goes into place there and has a little pin that holds it in place. Pretty cool little setup, right? So then all we have to do is take the wire that we ran outside of the tailgate, put the 3-pin weather pack connector on that, and then that makes that come off. It's pretty good. Now it's time for the actual heavy lifting part of this project. Probably good to have a buddy for this part, especially if you're coming at this from scratch. You could take some measurements to figure out what your backspace is and stuff. I tried to copy the dimensions from my old setup onto here. We're about to find out how well that worked and try not to get a hernia in the process. One of the other, like again, the compromise here, you know, this is a convenient thing. It's gonna be nice and tight here. The cool thing about the swing out is that it had a shelf at the bottom of it where the tire sat on, and you could literally flip the tire up onto that and then get it into place. It was actually pretty easy. This doesn't have that. So we now have to clear this. So the tire won't rest on this, but we have to clear this. So now what we'll do is I'm going to still use that and see. Yeah, this is quite a bit higher. So we will just lift it into place. I gotta say, for how big of tires these are, you should go watch that video. I actually upsized tires, went beadlocks for my old wheels, and actually shaved, I think 5 or 7 pounds per wheel. So this is not as heavy as you'd think. It ain't light, but it ain't heavy. Yeah, I would have to say for a first shot at it, that's a pretty good alignment, pretty good setup. All right, let's get a quick look back here. So now you can see you can adjust the mounting plate with these little guys right here, and you have a lot of room up and out. So let's get this dialed. I just loosened those up and then just bear hugged it, and it pulled it in a little bit, and then just tighten. Now here's an interesting example of getting the most out of your tools. This is one of the Craftsman 120 tooth gear sockets that I got when I did my garage makeover. And this is exactly, not only does it just feel really good and smooth, you can hear that, this is exactly why. This is a tight spot right here. So this ratchet gives you the ability to make the most out of not much reach in here. So you can see very tight quarters. I get so I can get the most out of literally, what is that, 3/4 of an inch of travel on the wrench and still tighten. My other ratchet with like an 80 tooth or whatever the other tooth is, it takes more than that just to click one more notch. These don't. So this is a good example of how something like that really comes into play in a good way. And you think at first, how is that, other than feel good and sound good, come into play? That's how. This is very handy. I can tighten that down. Great. There we go. That's tight. Let's shut the door and see what our alignment looks like. Whew. All right. Well, I actually have a little bit more room, but I'm gonna just rock it like this for now. It looks really good. It's very stable. We'll see how it does over the next several months, but I do definitely appreciate having the just single move operation to open the tailgate. It'll just come in handy for my day-to-day life, and we'll see how it handles the trails and some vigorous off-roading. What'd you do? What'd you do? What'd you do? What'd you do? This thing right here has been absolutely fantastic. Now, it's different from some of the traditional bumper mount ones where they have that one pivot point up here, up high. I've always liked the fact that it's captured here with 2 bearings, pretty stout bearings, and it's been solid. And that little pin is one of the highlights as well. It saves you from smashing your tire into your tail light or quarter panel here. So this is gonna come off right now. So that's just basically what we'll do is we'll just take off the pin, take out the pin, and that should mean this should come out. And it does. Woo! So I can honestly still very strongly recommend the MetalCloak swing out bumper for guys that just want that peace of mind and that durability. I, over the years, am open to trying for laziness and ease of use to just have the tire up there on the swing gate, and we'll find out how this goes together. But for now, swap these out. I got a set of these, and that's what's cool about the component style bumpers, that this metal, the center section stays, and then all I have to do is just swap in some standard ends here, which I have over there, and then this will be smooth. So there it is, final form. Got the new end caps on it. It's looking really clean and nice. Got the license plate mount in. Again, I really like this. I recommend that. I think that got overlooked in my videos, but there it is. Door opens and feels great. It has a stop right there built in. Form and function, pretty great. So we'll give it a try over the next few months. I'll be honest with you guys and see how it does. I like it already. Just having this practicality, pretty great. So there you have it. Please follow me over there on AutoEdits Jason on Instagram. Please like, subscribe, share this video, do all that stuff for support of the channel. And until next time, enjoy your drive. It's getting a little windy out here. I'm gonna clean up and get out of here.